Hello everyone, welcome to Scorch Your Toys at AnyMoon.com's review of ThreeZero's 1/12 scale Melquiya type Scopedog with parachute pack. This toy was released in January 2019 in two flavors. There's a standard retail version at $460 and a deluxe version which added a parachute for $490. If you're shopping for ThreeZero collectibles or other Votom's toys, you can find them at Big Bad Toy Store. Click the link in the comments below to get there and help this channel out in the process. This is ThreeZero's third and fourth releases following the regular green and weathered exclusive versions. Like the first two releases, this toy comes in an oversized shoebox that looks nicely weathered. Opening the box, you'll find instructions sitting on top of a black foam lid. I have a full scan of the instructions in my review on AnyMoon.com. Inside the instructions, you'll also find a little metal rod which can be used for removing the stock on the rifle. In the first tray under the lid, you'll find all the stuff that came with the original releases. That includes the two foot armors you'll be installing, the head antennae you'll also be installing, the rifle with canvas gun strap, a short barrel conversion piece for the rifle, a couple of ammo tins, two magazines for the cannon punch effect, a pilot figure in full pilot suit, 5 additional fixed posed hands for the pilot, a gun for the pilot, and in the next tray down you'll find the Scopedog. While that was it with the regular release, the Melquiya version adds some value by including the parachute pack, 3 more ammo tins, a simulated packed parachute, and 2 more hip-mounted items, maybe ammo tins. Leave a comment if you know what they are. Other than color, the Scopedog in the Melquiya release is the same as the green version that we saw previously. So let's begin by discussing the parachute pack. It does have opening doors. So here's the one on the top where we've installed the folded over parachute. There is the ability via magnet to attach the deluxe version parachute as well. So that's what goes on in the top. Moving our attention towards this bottom here, there's another door right here that we can open up, and that reveals some removable accessories, which is pretty cool. We have a radio, and then there are some thermoses here, as well as a toolbox and a medical kit. Not sure which one is which, but so there's the survival goods. Here's another thermos here. So you have all these little intricate things that you can play with your pilot figure using, so that's all cool. Obviously straps on this fabric tent, very cool there as well. You do have on the side here a couple compartments. They attach via magnet, which is really cool. And if you like the look of the dangling ammo tin, you can remove these little things here. You can put your ammo tin on, and then you can clip it back on the cover here one way or the other. So these are pretty flexible, so they pop right back on, and then that can go on there, and then this will dangle off, which is pretty cool. The other option you of course have is the ability to store ammo tins on the bottom. Now this connection was a little loose for me. I wasn't terribly thrilled with that, but you do have the bar underneath, which you can then bring up to kind of tighten everything up nicely. And then you are ready to install your parachute pack on a Scopedog. ThreeZero calls their Scopedog 1/12 scale, and it's 33.5 centimeters tall, which is pretty much that. Yamato also had a 1/12 Scopedog. That's 32 centimeters tall, which is also right about 1/12. So they're good enough, but you might be wondering, hey, can I use the accessories from the Yamato on a ThreeZero? And the answer to that is no. They do not fit. As one might expect, they're not exactly the same size, so that would cause issues, and it's just a world of difference anyways. To install your parachute pack, you could, if you want to, pop this little door off the back, because you'll note on the parachute pack it has like a little attachment piece. You don't actually have to remove that, and then you're just going to take it, and it fits right on top of those hooks, nice and solid. And you'll notice it's not making my Scopedog fall backwards like the Yamato accessory tended to do for their Scopedogs. Now, this parachute pack is 208 grams. The Yamato version was actually 232. So despite being slightly bigger than the Yamato, they came in with a lighter parachute pack, which makes that work a little better. Plus they have stiffer joints. Now here is a green Scopedog. Again, just to show you, I can just pop this right off, no problem. Fits on very easy, and I could take it and I could put it on my green Scopedog, just like that, no problem. You can have this toy in the down dog position with the parachute pack on, but you cannot achieve the down dog position without removing the parachute pack, because the first step of getting to the down dog position is bringing this butt flap all the way up. And the instructions specifically tell you not to bring the parachute pack back more than 45 degrees, because you don't want to break this piece here or potentially some other piece. So you don't want to go much further than that, which wouldn't give you enough room to bring that butt flap up. To continue on to the down dog position, you're going to want to bring these flaps up on the side so you got a little more clearance. Also make sure you've got your legs completely lined up all the way down to the ankles. And then you're going to bring the hips down to their lowest possible position right there. And then you're going to swing the leg back, which you can hear nice ratcheted joints there. And once you get to that position there, you can bring the foot down like so. And then we're going to ratchet this guy back up. Let's get the hip all the way up, this guy all the way up, and then we want to come down at the knee just a little bit, and there you go. And we're going to repeat on the other side. All right, so again on the other side, we're going to take these pivots and we're going to try to get them in their most upward position, which was a little further than I went on that other leg. So bring it all the way up. Now, I find you actually have to come down one at this joint here so you can get all the way up at the hip. See, there's a lot of pressure in there. So if I come down one, it works. Now going back to the foot, what we want to do is bring the foot down, and there's this elevator within the foot right there. And so we want to bring this foot all the way down. And this is a little scary to do because these things have somewhat fragile feet, but bring it all the way down like so, and you should get a pretty flat looking Scopedog. We just bring down our flaps and we can put it right down, and there's your toy in the downward dog position. So you've got the toy in the down dog position and you want to throw the parachute pack on, and you've got this warning not to do this more than 45 degrees of an angle here. You got to put it on and it just doesn't seem like it's gonna work. So what I do is I just go ahead and bring those hips down one click. It's not the best solution, but it's really hard to tell you've changed much of anything. There's a slight forward angle in the front, and now you've got plenty of clearance to go ahead and attach that parachute pack, and it's gonna look just fine. So $400 toy, I would err on the side of caution. All Scopedogs come with a magazine holder on the hip armor. It is removable. Here's the Melquiya version. Now, one cool thing is they do have individually removable magazines on those holders that can be put inside the forearm for the bullet punch mechanism. I will show you in a little bit. You can also take these ammo tins that come with the toy and plug those into the hip armor as well, and they'll stay in there nice and firm. And with the parachute pack, you get this new accessory, which seems to be just a more aerodynamic ammo tin, which again just plugs right in like so. If you're familiar already with ThreeZero Scopedog toy, everything from this point in the review on is the same as it was in the original review. So you can skip forward to the conclusion and see just what new durability notes I have, and you don't have to sit through everything else. If you're new to the ThreeZero Scopedog, check it out. I will go over all of the gimmicks, including the rotating visor and scopes. I go back and forth along with the head moving. You can also lift the visor upward and see the pilot within, which is pretty cool, which obviously I've put that pilot in there. So to go over how to put the pilot in, check out my original review. I go through step-by-step instructions. It's a little cumbersome. I'm gonna go ahead and lift open this section here, which is pretty big and heavy. It does have a extending gimmick, but it's so big and heavy it will fall back down on you. It doesn't stay up. There is the pilot. You also have a footwell that opens up. which is really necessary to help get that pilot in there. The pilot itself, we can go ahead and remove him now. So you can see, holds on to the controls, very tight fit in there. I'll go ahead and move him out. So here is the pilot figure, which is a very cool pilot figure. He's got a little rubber suit on him. It has a gun as well. And there are obviously various fixed posed hands. They are rubber, they are on a ball joint, they spin. I can just pop that free, plug on this hand like so. Head spins, it's a little tacky. Little fake leather again, all very nice. Shoulder joint, elbow joint, waist joint, hips, knees. So you can have a lot of fun ankle. Posing this toy on its own, it's a little tricky to get him to stand because he does have so much articulation and he has regular sized feet. Speaking of regular sized, he is about 5'10" if you go by the same scale, which is pretty unusual for a Scopedog toy to have a pilot figure that is about the right height. So that's all very well done and cool. Here's a little better look inside the cockpit. Here's the control unit. You can see it pivots in a couple places. The handles also pivot. There's some detail within. It's all right, nothing too special on the inside of the toy. The head area does have some good detail as well, some equipment up there. So that's all very nicely done. One of the more iconic moves by a Scopedog is the bullet-powered punch. I'm going to show you it in reverse on the ThreeZero just because it's a little easier to do. And it'll give you the full picture. So here is the fully extended arm. We've got the piston showing here, fist is all the way out, and shoulder even is extended. So what we do to get it back to normal is there is a pivot here at the shoulder, and we're going to collapse this joint here to bring that all the way back. And then we're going to bring back the fist, and we could push in the wrist if you extended that at all. And now we have a magazine. There's 2 extra ones that come with the toy. They're also the same that go on the holster. That fits right in here. So the way you would start this whole process is you push this button here to extend that magazine, and then that unlocks that first extension. And again, you'd go with the shoulder and fist. This toy does have a waist to it. It also, at this waist, has a little panel that is removable here. It's not the easiest to get your finger on there, but we can pry this piece off here. And I don't know why you would do this very often, but here we go. We got that piece coming out. And there you go. So you can expose a little bit more detail on the back. And again, I've already showed you that this piece pops off as well. The feet on these toys are really cool, though they are a bit of a durability nightmare. You have a flap on the front that you have to install. You have a flap in the back. You do have a spike that comes down, and you have a wheel on the bottom, which is pretty cool. They do, you saw the elevator from the dog position here. They also spin, and they can rock back and forth to give you sort of that angled in or out position. Now, this foot is glued together, so I've managed to maintain that flexibility, but it is cool. You got those options. It is sad that there's so much stuff going together in a plastic part down there, but there you go. Pretty cool feet on these toys. All right, some articulation points we haven't covered yet. Obviously, you know, we've seen the head and everything it can do in the visor. The shoulder joints, incredibly stiff on my Melquiya toy, but you can rotate them all the way around. And you saw there's the internal extension at the shoulder, which lets you come way out and lets you get a better punch effect as well. Then there's the twist point at the bicep, and you have a double jointed elbow. So there's a connection up at the top and then at the elbow itself. So you can get that more than 90 degrees range of motion, which is always good to see on any sort of mecha toy. Then you have these hands, which are beyond impressive. The fingers are a little long, perhaps a little creepy, but they do a great job holding on to things. So that's all very good to see. And they're ball jointed, so they can come back and forth and spin around. You've seen the waist. You've seen that these flaps move. You've seen that the hips move because we went to the dog position. Nice ratchets. You can come out with them pretty far, and you can swivel out as well. So that's all good. You've seen what the knee can do. You've seen what the foot can do. So really impressive stuff that you can do to get these toys in just the right position. The toy comes with a pretty cool gun. The gun has a strap on top that is easily removed. So I'm just gonna take this, and again, it's just like we saw with the parachute pack. You can put the ammo tins on. Very bendy clips there. There's a metal rod inside the instructions that let you push out this peg here. I'm just using a toothpick, works just as well. Pull that peg out, and that allows you to remove the stock. And then you can remove the barrel from the gun as well and put on the little short barrel adapter piece to get something more like the gun that's used in the second arc of the show. And you know what else is cool? That is a working trigger. So very cool. You also have a switch for which mode of fire you're gonna use. So very well detailed and cool gun. So I said this review is pretty much exactly the same as it was for the green Scopedog since we stopped talking about the parachute pack. Now, one thing I did notice, my green Scopedog has a very loose shoulder, whereas my Melquiya version, that is a very stiff joint. So if I put this gun now inside the toy's hand, and by the way, you can also plug on the ammo tins if you want. If I put this in here, I can put it in some cool poses because there is such a good range of motion at the elbow, but I am limited a little bit by how sloppy that shoulder joint is, where my Melquiya toy is quite capable of doing pretty much anything because that shoulder joint is very stiff. Now that is a dual-edged sword because that shoulder joint is also prone to breakage. So pretty awesome toy, and everyone should buy one, right? Well, let's pump the brakes a bit. This toy is fragile, and honestly, I'm doing it a disservice out of force of habit by even calling it a toy. My first retail Scopedog had a broken foot. I sent it to ThreeZero for repair, and it came back with a broken arm. My retailer let me replace it for a new one. When I rotated that one at the waist, it cracked into separate torso and leg pieces. I bought the Melquiya version hoping for improvement, and out of the box, it had the same broken foot. I reached out to ThreeZero, but they seemed only interested in fixing toys bought from their website now. So I took a crash course in toy repair using rare earth magnets and a lot of glue, which is fine since these dogs are manufactured using glue first and screws later. So, do you want to spend more than $400 on a toy that seems more likely than not to need repairs? There's no doubt it's beautiful and well thought out, but until ThreeZero figures out their materials and build issues, this thing is only right for the most die-hard Votoms fans. Check out my full article on anymoon.com, and as always, thanks for watching.